December 18, 2025, Philippine Sea, 1823 hours. The USS Rafael Peralta and USNS Rappahannock are locked together by 4 fuel hoses, 120 feet apart. 6,000 gallons per minute flowing between them. Neither ship can turn. Neither can accelerate. Neither can run. For the next 87 minutes, they're sitting ducks. The media will call this the vulnerable moment. They're wrong. This isn't weakness on display. This is the most expensive trap ever engineered. Every adversary with a satellite feed is watching. They see 2 ships, predictable course, predictable speed. They calculate intercept vectors. They position assets. They prepare to strike. And that's exactly when they die. This is a paradox. The ship that looks most defenseless is the most defended object in the Pacific Ocean, not because it has weapons, because attacking it means fighting 6 overlapping kill zones simultaneously, while 432 missile interceptors wake up and decide you don't get to exist anymore. If you understand that American logistics isn't a supply chain, it's a weapon system disguised as a gas station, type proud in the comments. Today, we decode why the fuel hose kills more threats than the destroyer. Think about war for a second. Carriers get the glory. Destroyers get the headlines. Submarines get the movies. But the oiler? Nobody talks about the oiler. In 1982, the British learned what happens when you ignore logistics. The Argentinians sank HMS Atlantic Conveyor with 2 Exocet missiles. Britain's entire logistics tail nearly collapsed. They almost lost the Falklands War because one supply ship went down. The US Navy studied that lesson. They didn't learn it. They weaponized it. Today, American oilers operate inside defensive bubbles so dense that approaching them requires surviving what the Navy calls layered lethality. That's the technical designation for you're going to die in 6 different ways before you get close enough to matter. Here's the strategic paradox. The USNS Rappahannock broadcasts her position, AIS transponder active. The Chinese know exactly where she is. The Russians know. The North Koreans know. This isn't a security failure. This is a dare. The USNS Rappahannock, TAO-204, carries 180,000 barrels of marine diesel, 52,000 barrels of JP-5 jet fuel, and exactly 0 weapons. She's a 41,000-ton floating fuel depot. In any conventional analysis, she's the weak link. Cut her. The carrier strike group has 72 hours until they go home. It's also assisted suicide with paperwork. Right now, she's pumping fuel to the USS Rafael Peralta. 4 fuel hoses, each pumping 1,500 gallons per minute. Do the math with me. 6,000 gallons per minute. In 87 minutes, 522,000 gallons transferred. That's 3.4 million pounds of diesel moving between ships, traveling 13 knots. Both ships locked to that exact speed. Deviation of 0.3 knots causes oscillation. The hoses whip. Connection breaks. For 87 minutes, neither ship can maneuver defensively. In submarine warfare, this scenario has a technical name: gift-wrapped. Except the gift is rigged to explode the moment you touch it. The defensive geometry starts 300 miles out. 2 Arleigh Burke destroyers orbit the UNREP. USS Dewey to the north, 40 nautical miles out. USS Sterett to the south, mirroring. Each destroyer carries the AN/SPY-1D radar. Detection range 250 miles for fighters, 140 miles for sea-skimming cruise missiles. Overlapping coverage eliminates shadows. Any threat approaching from any vector appears on at least one scope, usually both. USS Carl Vinson, CVN-70, conducts flight operations 85 miles east. 4 E-2D Advanced Hawkeyes rotate at 25,000 feet. The APY-9 radar tracks 300 miles from altitude. 6 radar systems scanning simultaneously. Every radar contact from every platform feeds into one shared picture updated in real time. Everyone sees everything. But surveillance is step 1. Lethality is step 2. Chinese Type 093 submarine, 210 miles west. The commander receives the mission brief. Target the oiler. Disrupt American logistics. Textbook asymmetric warfare. On paper, it's brilliant. In reality, It's the last order he'll ever receive. At exactly 195 miles from the UNREP, the MH-60R Seahawk gets a passive sonar contact. 16 sonobuoys. Diamond pattern. Contact solidifies. The submarine commander has a choice: slow down and take 12 hours to reach attack position, or maintain speed and broadcast his position to every passive sonar array in the strike group. He chooses speed. Bad choice. 3 helicopters now tail the submarine. They don't attack, they follow. Every 4 minutes, active sonar ping. You are tracked. You are targeted. You are already dead. You just haven't stopped moving yet. The submarine turns away. Mission abort. But let's say the commander presses the attack. He reaches 40 miles. Torpedo range. The torpedo door opens. Every passive sonar array hears the mechanical transient. The submarine's exact position resolves within 500 meters. The torpedo launches. U-6, heavyweight. Speed, 50 knots. It goes active, pinging for the oiler. The Rappahannock deploys Nixie, towed decoy mimicking a ship's acoustic signature. The torpedo acquires the decoy. Meanwhile, the Peralta, still connected by fuel hoses, launches the Mk-54 lightweight torpedo. The American torpedo goes active. The submarine attempts evasive maneuvers. Turn rate, 4 degrees per second. The Mk-54's acoustic homing, 8 degrees per second. Equations don't negotiate. Impact, 96 seconds after the Chinese torpedo launched. 1 submarine, 47 submariners, 0 survivors. The oiler continues pumping fuel. Not one hose disconnects. The UNREP completes on schedule. 24 missiles launched. 0 hits. But let's address the nightmare scenario. China doesn't send 6 bombers, they send 40. They don't launch 24 missiles, they launch 160. Can the system hold? Mathematics says yes. The strike group carries 480 VLS cells total. Loadout for anti-air operations, 60% SM-6, 30% SM-2. Total air defense magazine, 432 interceptors. Against 160 inbound, the strike group fires 320 interceptors, maintaining a 2-to-1 engagement ratio. But here's reality. China has 63 operational H-6K bombers total. Committing 40 to one strike means losing 20. The strategic equation writes itself. China attempts to sink 1 oiler. In exchange, half their bomber fleet destroyed. 0 hits achieved. Complete weapons performance data delivered to U.S. intelligence. That's not warfare. That's a donation to the Pentagon's threat assessment library. The 19-year-old boatsman's mate operating the refueling rig doesn't think about interceptors or kill chains. He's from Nebraska. Joined the Merchant Marine because it paid better than farming. His job? Monitor fuel flow, watch for leaks, maintain connection. 4-hour shifts, 20-foot seas. 3.4 million pounds of fuel transferring 120 feet across open water. One mistake kills everyone. King hose ruptures. Diesel sprays. 1 spark. Both ships burn. This hasn't happened. Not in 4,200 underway replenishments conducted in the last 18 months. American dominance doesn't come from carriers. It comes from the kid from Nebraska who connects fuel hoses in 15-foot seas without shutting down the war. China builds carriers. America builds the supply chains that keep carriers operational 8,000 miles from home port. December 18, 1950 hours. UNREP complete. 0 casualties. 0 damage. 6 Chinese bombers turned back. 1 Chinese submarine tracked and avoided. So how does a fuel hose become the most defended object in the Pacific? Physics, geometry, and $15 billion in missile defense systems positioned with mathematical precision. The oiler didn't survive because she got lucky. She survived because attacking her requires fighting the entire U.S. Navy simultaneously across 6 overlapping kill zones, while 432 missile interceptors decide you're the problem that needs solving. None of this required revolutionary technology. It required applying known capabilities with unprecedented coordination. The weapon you don't fire is more powerful than the one you do.
The USNS Rappahannock isn't just a tanker. She's the reason carrier strike groups remain on station indefinitely. The next time you fill your car with gas, remember why global commerce flows uninterrupted. It's not luck. It's because 180 merchant mariners, all volunteers maintain the supply lines that keep the Pacific open and free. That is the American guarantee. Logistics is the weapon. Supply lines are the proof, and the USNS Rappahannock is the reason the fleet never comes home. If this breakdown changed how you think about American logistics warfare, you belong here. Hit subscribe. We decode the engineering that makes dominance possible.